Hi guys, and today we're here to look at the all-new Range Rover Evoque. Yes, all new. I know what you're thinking. It looks a lot like the car that was originally launched in 2011, the original Range Rover Evoque that opened up a whole new market for Range Rover. In fact, they sold 800,000 of those, 150,000 of those here in the UK, and it set off a whole new trend, not only in the way that they did SUVs, but also in the styling. And the styling has kind of evolved into the current Velar, if you like, and now bizarrely, this car that actually started off that trend is now taking styling cues back from the Velar into this one. So it kind of looks like a mini Velar. I think it's a very nice and very desirable update to a popular existing shape. Now you're thinking, why is it all new? Because it does actually have an all new platform. Yeah, it's only 1 millimeter longer, 21 millimeters longer in the wheelbase. The roof is actually slightly lower and it's slightly fractionally wider as well, but actually it's pretty much the same car. They wanted to keep the size almost exactly the same, but it is a new platform, and the reason they have to have a new platform is because it has mild hybrid technology and it will have plug-in electric hybrid technology, and all of that sits in the platform under the floor of the car. That's where they're fitting all of those systems in. This one that we're looking at here is a petrol engine car. It's the P300, 300 brake horsepower. The petrol also comes as a 200 and 250 brake horsepower, all 2-liter turbos. There's also two diesels, which are 180 and 240 brake horsepower. All of these are all-wheel drive, but you do get a base spec car, which is the only one that doesn't come with that mild hybrid system. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on, which is a 150 brake horsepower front wheel drive car. So as you can see, the styling cues were very obviously the copper slashes in the front and the side slash, all taken from the Velar. At the back you can see actually that's the base level, 150 horsepower, 2-wheel drive, and you see it's got a different front bumper on that one. But this is a very good looking car. This has got pretty massive wheels on it as well, and we'll talk about the ride as well on the move. But just take a look at it. They say they have more rear legroom, which I will just have a look at in a minute, and the boot space is up by 10%. But overall, the way that they've taken the styling elements of the Velar and incorporated it into this car, I think work extremely well and give the Evoque now a little bit of a grown-up presence compared to how it looked before, and made it even more handsome. But I think particularly it's a car that fits in context, and in Europe it does look right. It does look like the right size, and I know in the Middle East it maybe looks a little bit smaller, but here it just seems to fit the part perfectly. Here we go. Now first of all, oh, it's not too bad actually. I do seem to have a little bit more headroom in here, but certainly, now this seat of course is set for me at 6'2", that's my driving position, and knee room is okay. As you can see, just my shins are touching the lower side here, but there's plenty of wiggle room for the feet, that's fine. I think for normal size adults it'll actually be a little bit better because the seat would be a bit more forward and there'd be a bit more space, but otherwise it's actually not too bad here. Now interestingly, check out this material that they've got here. This is very sort of denim quality material. It's very interesting. This is on the top spec version of the car here, combined with this kind of velour kind of trim here as well. It's a very interesting, it looks very durable. It's an interesting new take on, rather than using leather, using this kind of thing, and apparently this is self-sustainable. It's used from recycled material and stuff like that. There's a lot of recycled bits in here as well. So environmentally friendly, environmentally aware material in here. So comfortable wise, good. Still a low roof line here, so if you want to have high glass area, you don't get it, but it's not too bad. You do have a it's closed at the moment, but there's a panoramic massive sunroof on this spec. There's a center armrest with two cup holders that goes up. Isofix Chelsea anchor points, of course. Vents back here. This one's just got power supply and no USBs, but I guess other markets and other specs might have that as well. So not bad back here. It's definite improvement, I think, from before. But what's it like in the front? So the main thing you can see about the interior is that it's now adopted that new layout that was introduced in fact on the Velar again, but is now also available in the Range Rover and the Range Rover Sport. The two screens, the top contains your navigation, your infotainment, all of that sort of stuff, and down here you've got your climate control, but also your vehicle control. So you go through all of the modes. You've got eco, automatic, and all of the off-roading modes, plus sport, and you've also got sport configuration for the 9-speed ZF transmission as well. Otherwise, again, some of that material here, I like the way that they've done the seats. It's all soft touch. They've upgraded the quality, refinement. That's what they're going for. They've got the capacitive touch buttons here as well now. So they have, and the screen of course in the middle there between the two dials. So really, you know, let's go for a bit of a drive and let's talk about it on the moon. Now, one of the things that they have introduced of course in these cars is what they're calling the mild hybrid system. Now the mild hybrid system, what that is basically, it's like an addition. It's not so much of a hybrid. You don't drive on electric power, but it improves the stop start. So it actually stops for it shuts down from 11 miles per hour as you're cruising up. And really what they're trying to do is save fuel, but also make it more quieter, more refined. There will be a plug-in electric hybrid coming very soon, probably later this year in fact. Production has already started. We've been to the factory today at Halewood, which used to be a Ford plant, but is now a Land Rover plant, and they're building already 700 of these a day. That's where they build the Discovery Sport and this one, the new Range Rover Evoque. They've already transitioned to the new car. Now, performance-wise, you know, there's plentiful. But I have to say that I think that what they've done, 300 horsepower kicks in, that really moves, and it does really well, and that's not even in sports mode. I do find that the 9-speed hunts sometimes, so if you're on roads like this where you really want to access that power quickly, then the best thing is to push it across into sports mode, and then actually the transmission is much more responsive. The ride on these big wheels is okay, but you certainly feel a brittleness to it a little bit every now and then. But overall, the ride, the quietness, you do get a bit of road roar and a road noise from those tires, but the quietness overall is vastly improved and makes a big difference to the car. So I've been driving it around today, and you know, to be honest, it feels a lot like the old Evoque, but it just feels sort of even more comfortable, more refined, easier to get on with. Now, a couple of other things, or I should have actually said when just shown you when we were static, but maybe I'll just put an inset in, is that they now have the digital rear view mirror. So of course they've got reversing camera and stuff like that, but they've mounted the camera for that on the roof, and it's not only is it coated with self-cleaning material, but also, well, this is very clever, what they've done is they've positioned it aerodynamically in such a way that the wind goes around it and actually cleans it as it does so. So that's quite good. Now that comes up on here. Now I've typically had a problem with these systems in that trying to focus on it sometimes is an issue. But considering that this has got quite a small pillar box like rear window, having that system actually gives you much wider scope of information of what's behind you. And I actually was using it today. I'm not using it right now. Actually, let me see if I can switch it over. I don't know if you'll be able to make it out on that camera. But the way I was using it was basically not continually looking at it, but using it more as a peripheral thing. It's such a clear screen really that you do get a very good idea of what's behind you. So that's really good. Steering is a bit lighter. Well, I mean, it's light as you expect. It firms up a little bit, maybe in sports mode, but it's not a sporty feeling steering wheel. It feels comfortable and easy to use, but fairly accurate and that sort of thing. Brakes are, as you can see, very good, not an issue, but performance actually is quite staggering off the line. It's very, very good indeed. So what do we think of this car overall? Well, I think it's a real step up, and I think the main thing about it is what they've done is they've increased the visual appeal and desirability of the car by keeping it the same size, so keeping it the same level of external practicality in terms of maneuverability, parking and driving it around town, but in terms of and actually increasing the interior space. In fact, there's 10% more boot space in this car, and you're wondering how they've done that. It's basically through better packaging, despite the fact that they've now got to put the mild electric hybrid system in and the plug-in electric hybrid system in that comes in later. But externally, they've given it a little bit more of a mature, more grown-up look, and it does actually look really, really good. So I think that for the money and for the kind of car this is, and again, if you get the four-wheel drive, you just know that it can do the business off-road as well as on-road. It goes without saying. So overall then, a big thumbs up for the car. I think they've done a great job. Personally, I have to admit, I still would rather have the Velar. I think the Velar is really, it's my favorite Range Rover in the current lineup, but this is a very important car for them. It's a car that really they designed to appeal to younger people, younger families, and also to get a lot of conquest sales into the brand. That's what this car is all about. And again, I think that going by its past track record, it'll probably do extremely well at that job. So another great offering from the Jaguar Land Rover group, and really good to be out here with them to do this drive. Hope you enjoyed that review. Let us know what you think of the car, the review, me, anything you like, and I hope to see you again soon in the next review. Thanks so much for watching. See you later.